Hey man, all I know is you do not want to catch a fade with this podcast host. Joe Rogan or Noah, who would win?
I'm tired just from that. Former MMA fighter, former YouTube star, now the founder and CEO of Kayyo.
To hit 100,000 users, it took us 8 months.
Okay.
To hit 200,000, it took just 3 more months.
Wow.
I'm a very obsessive person. I think that comes from being an athlete. Like, I will spend 15 hours a day if I have to learn about something.
I'll spend 15 hours a day looking at Sean O'Malley knockouts.
Yeah. I think sports in this day and age, aside from politics, might be the closest thing that we have to religion.
Whoa.
We're in a game of buying data and making decisions. That's it if you're a founder.
Data is gold, the new gold,
yeah,
right?
bro. You need to get the data, you make the decision, and boom, you're on to the next level. So don't delay it.
Data is the new gold.
Crypto.
Yeah.
And now, introducing the red corner, 5'8", 170, hailing from Los Angeles, California, the city of angels, but he's a devil himself, Labib Yasir. And in the red corner, 6'3", 190, from Houston, Texas, Noah lack, but he ain't lacking.
Let's go, baby. Thank you.
You good?
Yeah.
All right, sit down there.
Well, this is it, man. This is another episode of the Athletes and Asses podcast. I'm your host, Noah Lack, and I bring on your favorite athletes to chat about a business topic. Today, we got my guy, Labib Yasir, former MMA fighter, former YouTube star, now the founder and CEO of Kayyo, AI personal MMA trainer in your pocket. Labib, thanks so much for joining me, brother.
Pleasure for having me here, sir. It's an honor to be here with the Noah Lack. Been looking forward to this episode recording for a minute now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, dude. So we got to skip the small talk. Your app is so interactive for fighting. I need to be put to the test here. Can we just jump right into it and have me do show a little demo of that?
Let's get it popping.
Let's do it. So why don't you, through this demo, why don't you stay near the mic just so you can explain what's going on?
Perfect.
I will get in position.
Nice.
You can sort of describe what's happening, and I'll do one of those little 30-second things and get yelled at by the trainer guy.
Perfect. Yeah, Kit's gonna get you going through it. So we're gonna set up Noah. We're gonna start training with him. We're gonna set this up right here.
No one make fun of me for my punches, brother.
Hey man, that's what we're trying to do, bro. We're trying to fix that, man. We're trying to fix that.
We're slapboxing in the locker. We weren't actually doing MMA fighting. What's going on right now?
So right now we're getting you set up. Make sure you're in position for the app. Body's in, legs in.
If you're listening on Spotify, you might want to watch it.
Peep the video. Better yet, download the app.
Welcome to the striking challenge. Your job is to strike as many jabs as possible. Remember, jabs are punches with your leading wrist. I'll be watching your posture and striking form, so pay attention. Let's start by rotating your body towards the challenge objective. Rotate your body so your right shoulder is facing your phone.
Oh yeah, I see it. It's working.
Yep, it's gonna get you going.
Let's get started. Start striking now.
Go, Noah, no.
Let's get started. Start striking now.
Hey man, all I know is you do not want to catch a fade with this podcast host.
How many times I can say
Joe Rogan or Noah, who would win? Let me know in the comments. I got Noah.
Just jabs.
Sheesh. Oh my goodness. A little something, A little something.
I'm tired just from that.
It's a nice little way to, wake up Noah for the podcast. Feel energized.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that's your creation.
Hey, man, we try our best, right? It's pretty fun so far. I mean, the product right now that Noah actually got to interact with is basically a small little tiny portion of the entire workout that he would be going through. Basically, we set you up with
small, just a little minor part of the workout.
Yeah. So for the athletes listening out there and the fitness fans, it's very much like a Tabata type setup where it's 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off. And I think that actually fits really well with this gaming mindset plus high intensity mindset where you play these fun games and do fun activities stay energized and not go through these like monotonous long workouts without like having fun things to do at all times. So that was like one activity out of many that you would be doing if you were to use the full app.
No doubt, man. And let's for full context, man. You and Imran, your co-founder, started Kayyo. You know, in your words, first of all, there's a lot of fitness apps out there. There's a lot of AI tracking, and you know, you seem to have really found something here with the audience and your users. What is Kayyo in your words?
So Kayyo today is this AI personal trainer for MMA. But what we really think about Kayyo and what we're headed towards, it's basically this fitness network of different AI trainer avatars that are made perfectly for you through context and whatever you might want to do. So our idea is that most fitness apps today, I think they do something foundationally wrong where they ask the user, what do you want to do? What workout do you want to do? Pick your push-ups, squats, kicks, whatever. But in reality, when you go to a personal trainer in real life, you're not telling them anything or her anything. They set it up for you. So we believe the real opportunity from a foundational level is use things with AI like how to know what to do today in his workout, how did you do yesterday, and build the perfect routine for you depending on whatever fitness you want to do, and actually scale this to every single person in the world, because if we're going to rely on humans only, there's only so many humans we can, deliver upon. It's just a math problem.
Yeah, absolutely. When did you think this was, like, when did you start thinking of this idea? Was it while you were fighting and competing, or?
So a lot of this came to be from my previous e-commerce business. So my first e-commerce business was actually catered directly to like the prosumers and the athletes. So we had multiple people in the UFC use it. A lot of high level pros use it, even collegiate athletes use it. And it was basically this hardware tool to increase performance. And then we started going towards like the normal consumer. And the main problem they had was like, hey, I need to learn how to do this. I'm not a professional athlete yet. So the idea came from there while I was still competing that, hey, like a lot of people want to fight, do MMA, box, but they don't want to get punched in the face.
Yeah.
How do I get involved, right?
Minor asterisks there.
Minor thing, right? Like things change when you get punched in the mouth for the first time. You're like, I don't know if I want to do this. Yeah. So that was kind of our first inkling, like, hey, we need a solution that's highly scalable. We need a feedback loop because there's a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of apps, a lot of software, just a bunch of stuff out there. But the main problem still is neither the user, neither the service provider knows if the person using it is doing it correctly. It's kind of a road to nowhere.
Absolutely. Before we get to know your tactics and stuff, I want to know Labib the fighter. Like when you were competing, like what was your fighting style?
My fighting style. So started training basically like with the traditional martial arts since I was a kid. But in all my fights, I was a very offensive boxer. So in your face, I liked controlling the center of the ring, stopping takedowns, or if I did take someone down, I'd like to like ground and pound pretty heavy from top and like basically just I wanted to stop the fight at all times.
Yeah,
you entertain the crowd, and also knocking someone out is like like there's no other feeling in the world to it.
Is it a good feeling when you're competing? Like, is it a
competing? Yeah, I mean, like I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, like in general, I don't want to like knock people the fuck out, but like when you're actually competing,
it's
like,
a sport, right? It's legal now.
Yeah.
Competing in itself, I would say, I think any competitive athlete will talk about it. I'm not talking about people who just wreck. Like, if you're competing at a high level, it's very nerve-wracking. Like, sometimes you want to puke before going out there. You're like, fuck, like, we're about to do this type shit. But when you get in, like, you lock in, right? You're in the zone.
Right.
That zone, if you've been in that zone where your body's just doing its thing, it's like, there's no feeling. Like it's magic happening.
Man.
And yeah, when you're in there and you just like land the right shot and you have the belief in your shot and it lands and they go out, you're just like, you look down and you're like, holy shit, he's out.
Damn. You're our first fighter on the pod. So
really,
it's selfishly wanting to see like, what it's actually like.
It's very nerve wracking. Like, I have never competed in other sports. I've always been fighting. And it's interesting because like sports, you compete, you play, right? Fighting feels very different. Like you usually when you're in the back, there's fights going on. And the coaches always say like, don't look out, don't go outside, stay in the locker room, maybe take a nap, chill out a little bit. Because when you go outside and you're hearing like the oohs, the ahs, and you're hearing the bones and punches land on people, you kind of have to detach yourself from the actual reality that like that's going to be mean a little bit, and you can because you can psych yourself out.
Yeah,
you know, the reality is like, hey, you are going to get hit. There's a very good chance you're going to get injured because the entire sport is based on injuring each other.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Well, I mean, at least your founder market fit is there, right? You're building an app for something that you did.
Exactly. Like, and I would say most of our audience is like not people who want to be fighters. They want to feel like fighters. Mm-hmm. And I feel like
it's a big difference there.
It's a big difference, right?
Discernment between a real fighter, like we mentioned.
I feel like, right? And I think being a fighter and trying to deliver on that promise is really easy because like at most gyms that you train at, not everyone's a fighter. 99% of the people are there just to train and have fun.
Yeah.
So when you interact with them, you can kind of see like the sparkle in their eyes, like how they admire people compete. And the entire like business is really around catering. Like, how can I make you feel good like that without you getting hurt? And people get addicted to that feeling. Mm-hmm. Like we see people who train at our like gyms or the app. It's like they watch the UFC or they watch like Ryan Garcia. They're like, hey, I do the same exact thing. You know, he's doing that move right now because I do it at practice too. So when people get that like relatable feeling, it like drives up fan engagement, the love for the sport, and all those other things. Yeah,
100%. And you know, when was that like aha moment for your first users? I mean, when consumer tech is so difficult, like everyone, your friends will probably all say, "Oh, this is dope. Like I'd use this," but how do you assessing whether they really liked it or not? You know, you have over 250,000 users, correct? And counting. You know, when was that point of like, damn, we have built something that people want?
So there's a couple moments, right? And like at each like micro stage, because it was still really early, there's like a different feeling. So in the beginning, when you're a brand new app and just launched, the first feeling is like people downloading and getting it. That's the first aha, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was like the first time we saw like a couple thousand downloads happen in a day. We're like, oh shit, at least we got like the top of funnel where people are excited about this, right?
Yeah.
That's the first aha.
First step.
The second aha was like when users are now on the app, now we're seeing them all compete on the leaderboard, tweeting about like, hey, I'm like ranking up, or I did more than you and other friends. So boom, another moment, right? Okay, we're getting some engagement. Now you want them to stay. So what does engagement look like? We dropped 2.0. We saw a 50% increase in day one retention. Boom, we're onto something. So I think within company building or honestly anything, it's about momentum, right? And it's the lifeline of the company. If you feel a moment of momentum every day, that's another like basically bullet for you to, all right, let's shoot again. Let's shoot again. Let's shoot again. And when you stop having that momentum with progress, I think that's when things get scary.
Yeah, absolutely. And so with consumer stuff, there is the virality and then there's the network effects. I think you mentioned the virality part of it and the example, and why I wanted to do that in the beginning was because of the 10-second punch challenge. Bro. I want to see how many times I could throw in a 30 seconds. That's like the virality aspect, and I'd love to like share and brag about that. That's super cool. The network effects, like when someone downloads the app, does it get stronger? Like what happens when someone downloads the app? You know, like the more people on the app, does it become better? Like do more people, because my friends are on it? Okay, yeah, maybe I should get on it. Like, how do you think about the network effect piece of it?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple sides, I guess, that story of your question, right? So one, from a technological standpoint, when more people use it, we have more data to work with, we can make the product better. Also get more product insights by a larger group of people, right?
Yeah.
We can tell that, hey, 20,000 people like this or they don't. We have a larger data set to make decisions. Second thing is, if you look at Kayyo as an app, it's basically a UGC machine. Basically, if you do a workout, you now have a video that you can post of you doing something really cool that you can show off to your friends, your family, whatever it might be. So every single workout is now a marketing asset because it's a video, right? So that all plays into people sharing their experiences, what they're enjoying. And then lastly, from a network effect of like competition and users, I feel like at gaming, everyone wants to see like, hey, are you better than me? Am I better than you? And most of the time it's like friendly banter.
Yeah.
But it's all so interwoven that when we see more people come in, like things get crazier. Like to hit 100,000 users, it took us 8 months.
Okay.
To hit 200,000, it took three more months. Because everyone was telling each other like, yo, like hop in, bro. And we don't even have like a multiplayer mode yet.
Yeah.
which I'm excited for. Like that's when, you know, you have like 10 people in the lobby waiting for the workout to start. Let's all compete.
What about like virtual fighting?
Like,
I don't know.
Look, I'm very much thinking of you play like Smash before, like Super Smash Bros.
I'm obsessed.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
And you have a bunch of people in the lobby after the game. So we're thinking of like this like async workout where let's say me and 10 other friends have KO and we all want to like essentially work out together, right? So we all hop in the same workout, the same lobby. We do our thing at the end. We'll have all our stats in in a leaderboard, like Mario Kart. Like, yo, Noah is number 1. He did this. Labib became a number 3. Did this. So I think that's what's gonna like explode this thing. But
yeah,
can only do so many things at once.
It's crazy, man. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys, you use AI to help track and understand movements and give feedback. But like, you didn't grow up in an engineering AI background, did you? I mean,
No.
You picked this up sort of recently and was able to implement it with your co-founder.
Yeah. So big thing I gotta say is that, you know, like I think we have the most talented, hardworking, driven team out there. You know, my background is not from a technical standpoint at all. If I'm technical in anything, it could be like maybe marketing and attribution, incremental lifts and all that kind of stuff. But I come from a very like growth and business mindset.
Yeah.
The only, I think, reason why I'm able to pick things up is because I really enjoy learning. I'm a very obsessive person. I think that comes from being an athlete. Like I will spend 15 hours a day if I have to learn about something.
I'll spend 15 hours a day looking up Sean O'Malley knockouts.
Yeah, dude,
like
honestly,
Conor McGregor and his Adesanya knockouts.
That's the advantage of an athlete becoming an entrepreneur, right? Because the obsession that these people have is like no other. Like it is ingrained in our DNA. Like if I know I can land one more shot, one more download, one more strike, like I'm going to make sure it happens because we're almost disconnected from the extrinsic wins. We have something inside of us that like maybe it's a chip on our shoulder or something happened to us as kids. Facts. I don't know. You know, we got issues, but we're going to capitalize on those issues because we want to win no matter what.
Yeah.
So Imran, on the other hand, he is a technical beast, was working on his PhD like at 20 years old. Our ML engineer, like basically head of ML, like did his master at Stanford, was at NVIDIA. Savages, you know, it's a team of savages. And we do everything mathematically, look at the data. So you bring that together and, you know, all of a sudden this AI stuff doesn't look too hard.
So being that fighting is an individual sport, how are you able to recruit such a really strong team, you know, and you not having a technical background?
I would say that I think fighting is I think fighting is the biggest team sport, actually. We might not compete. Actually, even when you compete out there, right? Like when you have your coach in your corner
your coach is
and all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. Oh man, like when you walk out or when I'm cornering one of my teammates, it feels like I'm about to like actually go to war. And
wow.
like the amount of like nerves I have when my teammate is fighting compared to me is so crazy, bro, because it's like, it's your loved one. Like these are my brothers, right? Because when you think of like, is it not a team sport or individual sport? These are basically my brothers or teammates every day in the gym getting me ready to like go fight where we're basically going at 100% where like it's to kill each other, right? So that bond you have with your teammates is crazy. It's crazy. So like
the training aspect is very,
bro,
you train with each other so much, you become invested in their success.
And the amount of training and like the style of training, right? Like where my best friend, my brother, right? Like I've kicked him across the jaw. He's like kicked me in the liver I've dropped, or like when I've cornered him in a fight where like he got cut and he's like bleeding profusely in front of me.
Yeah.
And so it's like that bond you build together, it's super different. And then when you build a company and a team at a startup, which I think startup teams are more like sports teams than families anyways, because there's varsity, there's JV, and sometimes you got to bench someone, right? Like you got to let people go. It's part of the game. And I look at each person on our team kind of like a different discipline. I look at like engineering as like jujitsu. They're very like technical, and you know, they're analytical. Then we have like sales and marketing. These guys are like the boxers. Like they want the big knockout views and stuff. So like almost like a tech team is like this like MMA team where each person is like good at their own discipline. So it's kind of like helps me.
Man, that's a great lens.
them.
And I was saying the same thing previously. Great minds think. Like I was saying the same thing on a previous podcast where if I was a VC, I would evaluate a venture-backed startup like a starting five basketball team. Like your CEO's a star player. You know, you got your role players like the engineers, or the engineers. Your founding engineer is probably like the CTO.
Yeah.
Another star player.
Exactly.
But you need complementary players.
You need a center. You need a forward. I don't know too much about basketball, but you need a point guard. You need all that kind of stuff. Because if you think about it, like I think, like I love my team, right? And I think saying like family is an interesting way to say it, and I think it's incorrect because family in a way is unconditional love, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately or fortunately in business,
it's results.
It's results, bro. It's results.
It's not like
for a minute. What we were doing at Kayyo was each week I would give us a scorecard, like 75% up, 50% or below. And I was like, yo, these are like the playoffs. We're either getting eliminated or we're going on to the next round. And if we go below 50, like that's a L, right? If we take 2 L's in a row, back-to-back weeks, we got to kind of bring things back and figure out why we're losing.
Yeah.
And if you finish 75% of everything that we need to do, that's a dub.
Yeah.
So you gotta see, like, why are we taking L's 3 weeks in a row?
Yeah.
Does someone need to get like bent? Like
you made a scorecard for your team?
Yeah, I mean
to rate their performance?
Yeah, team-wide performance. I was like, hey, like, are we so? Especially early teams, like you need to iterate on product quickly, right? Like you don't have that many advantages. Speed is one of them. You better take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And like sometimes we would like just not finish everything we had on like the tasks, right? And I was like, yo, why is this happening? Like, why do we always come short? I was like, hey, we need to build some strict parameters around this. And it came down to like, hey, like we have to win every week. If we lose and we lose multiple times, why are we losing?
Yeah.
And it gave us a framework to identify things.
Wow. That's a very, it's very cool to see how you like I've applied that. One thing I really want to cover with you, man, in the lens of, I definitely want to make sure people understand the work that Kayyo is doing, what you're working towards, but in a separate light, you are like a marketing wizard, dude. Like the way that you've sort of showed me how you grow your accounts and how you make content, and and before that, before all of this, you were the YouTube star out and with Reach and doing Kids React, and you mentioned that they sort of showed you the game, man. Can you talk about that experience and like what you've taken from YouTube through MMA and like the marketing principles you've applied to Kayyo?
First and foremost, I want to say I'm nowhere close to being a wizard. Like there's way bigger dogs than me. That's the one thing I always say. Like I don't know shit. I'm not shit. I have a lot of work to do. But the little that I've been able to learn and apply, I learned a large amount about that from my days at being at React Media and being a YouTuber.
Sorry, I was saying React. Sorry, React.
You're chilling,
Media.
brother.
Yeah.
The React got Reach, so you get
React got Reach. Yeah.
So I started there when I was like 16, all the way until I was like 23, 24. Yeah, so I was there for a minute. And I started when they were essentially going from 0 to 1, right? Sub 1 million, only been around for a couple of years. So like almost you could say like a seed stage company. Right?
Yeah.
We're talking about it like that, right?
Right.
And, seeing them ideate on these trends that happen on a weekly and daily basis, making videos around it, having separate channels to post these different videos. Like some were like food channels, some were like talk shows, some were gaming, etc. You quickly learn that when you have distribution on a wide scale, there's different types of segments within your customer base or your viewer base, right? And before you get really big, like a Coca-Cola or Nike, no one's really gonna know your brand as a singular thing at once, right? It takes time. And to quickly learn what that brand is or see what's working, you gotta experiment quickly. And I would really notice that from like them building out different channels, different formats, and something that we applied at Kayyo. So at Kayyo, like our ideal...
break down your account, like break down how you do that.
100%. So our like initial customer profile, right, was like, hey, it's like someone probably from like 16 to 30 wants to do MMA in a fun way and get in shape. Just basically get in shape in a fun way through like all this cool stuff they watch on TV, like through UFC or whatever it might be. And we're like, all right, well, that's cool and everything, but I'm sure there's like different things within that market that like makes people gravitate towards why they want to do MMA. Maybe one of them is like, hey, I want to be more confident. Number two, confident to get in shape. I want to do self-defense. So I do want to do self-defense. So let's get in shape so I can fight for myself. Like there's all these needs and wants, right? So we basically made these different accounts throughout Instagram, TikTok, etc., to showcase these needs of the users. And then we were able to basically pick up different users in our segment from like different needs and wants. And that built out our like user base in our distribution. So like right now we have about like 4 or 5 main channels, so-called channels, pages, sorry, YouTube days. And these pages, like we have scaled horizontally into like the different wants. Like one is about want to be like more flexible, mobility, overall health and wellness. One is about basically just like fight lore, memes, things that like MMA fans relate to. One of them is around like confidence and like self-defense, like motivation. And then from like a geo standpoint, we're seeing like Kayyo India do really well. So we're trying to experiment with these needs and wants in different like countries also.
Yeah.
And it's not that innovative if you think about it, because there is a Nike Brazil, Nike.
Sure. Yeah.
People think it's only like a big company strategy, but like even startups can take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And
I'm probably just yapping right now too, but I forgot that I'm like, it's a podcast, I'm allowed to do it.
Yeah, no, like, no, for real. It seems like the marketing, like you really play on emotion. You're telling a story, right? Like I'm fat, I need to get skinny, or I'm getting bullied, I need to like stand up for myself.
Brands are all feelings.
Yeah.
Your product is just a feeling. That's all it is. Like Coca-Cola is refreshment. Nike is like, I can do anything I want. Every brand is a feeling.
Yeah.
If you can make someone feel some type of way, they'll do anything for you.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Everyone wants to be popping on Instagram, Labib. Like everyone wants to build these big accounts, like myself, right? Like, and you found the strategy that, innovative, not so innovative, whatever. It's been working where you create these different accounts. You started off yourself doing it, right? And then you think it as a founder, you thought it was important enough to hire someone to just run like X account or X account. When was that like decision made? How are you thinking about that over the timeline of the company, given the money you had at the moment, right? And given your priorities of users, of conversion and the product?
100%. So something great that I've learned over here at Founders Inc. is, focusing on A+ problems and always thinking, is this an A+ problem right now? So a big mantra that Furkan and Uber always say is like build, measure, learn, right?
Okay. So Founders Inc. is where we're recording right now. Shout out Founders Inc.
Shout out.
Furkan, Hubert, run Founders Inc. Man, they're absolute geniuses. Sorry, continue. Gotta get the context.
So basically, the entire mantra is build, measure, learn. So we built an awesome product, right? And you got to measure something. And you need to measure like, all right, who's using this? So for me, I was like, hey, we need to gather as much data as quickly as possible about these experiences, and we need people to be coming in, right? So if it takes 2 weeks for someone to get 10,000 downloads and make that decision, we can make that decision tomorrow if we crank this up. So I need that data. So I was like, bro, we're in a game of buying data and making decisions. That's it if you're a founder, bro.
Dude, data is gold, the new gold, right?
Yeah, bro. You need to get the data, you make the decision, and boom, you're on to the next level. So don't delay it.
Data is the new gold.
Crypto.
Yeah.
Bitcoin solves this. So basically, so we're like, hey, we need this data. So I was like, hey, I'm managing these 3 accounts. I also need to make sure everything else is going right. It's product on point, it's engineering on point. Like, your brain's all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can curse. I'm sorry.
You can curse.
Okay, bet.
People have said a lot worse.
All right, for sure. So basically, we need shit to happen. So at one point, I'm like, hey, I'm being capped out at 3 because this is only Instagram. Then we have like TikTok, we got YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, dude. Like, bro, social media is a full-time job.
It's a lot going on, man.
But you make it look so easy with how you guys manage and run the accounts. Like,
honestly, I think it might look easy. I think what do they say? Do like hard shit, and at the end of the day, bro, just say, yeah, bro, something light. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Everything's hard. I think. This shit's all hard work, but I try to just say like, hey, it's no big deal, right?
How much do you spend each day crafting like social media posts? Like you personally, or
me personally crafting the post,
Yeah.
I spend zero time.
Okay.
So this is all now managed by our creators. So
Okay.
we have like around 5 creators who all manage a page or a set of pages. And what I do from like a managerial standpoint is I have weekly calls or like a daily WhatsApp. So I personally probably don't spend more than 2 to 3 hours a week on this.
Okay.
And it's just making sure, like, I set a foundation for them, right? I have like frameworks. I say, what are we solving here? What does our customer look like? What's the macro level idea? This is what the landscape is telling us. And from there, like, I love hiring quick learners. If you can learn quick, man, we're off the races, bro. If you can do this, we're just getting started.
Yeah.
So all these creators have that mindset where they're able to learn so quick that next post they drop, they're like, oh, bro, we got 20 million views. I'm like, let's go. Exactly. So yeah, they do a lot of the legwork, and I'm just making sure that we're headed the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And you give them like a monthly stipend or something?
Mm-hmm.
Or-
So they're all, so we start off like a base pay.
Okay.
And then based on performance, like say, hey, like if they have like a one anomaly month, right? Like I'm not like, okay, we're going to pay you more right away because like it's an anomaly. I like to see progression and directionally the right way. And then from there, we'll like boost up their CPMs, like how much you're getting paid per like million views or the amount of content they're doing. And some of our people that have started like maybe $600-700 a month, now they're making like over $2,000 a month because like they've shown like just time and time again that, I'm crushing it. And now they almost use Kayyo as like part of their portfolio where they also get to do jobs for other people. So now they have like 3 or 4 people that they work for. They're each paying them like $2,000 and they're like 20-year-old kid just making content, making a nice little salary.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Well, like, we can, during the pandemic, people were in their living rooms trying to figure out. Banddemic, right? I think for you guys, it's probably.
Right. That was honestly, man, the stimulus was printing. If you sold something or did something, it was a Banddemic.
Yeah. And I can imagine during that time, like it made total sense to like continue to build all this tech, get it to people.
Yeah. Like, what the pandemic showed me, honestly, was that people over-index on a lot of things. I think people talking. I think one of my pet peeves is people who talk in absolutes.
Yeah,
that's why I don't like going on Twitter, because everyone on Twitter thinks they like know the answer to every world problem.
Facts.
So I kind of just stay off it. But yeah, I thought at that time Peloton was huge. When I was looking at it, it was like, well, it looks like we're way over-indexing on at-home fitness.
Yeah,
because at-home fitness is not new. For the people out there, if you guys remember P90X, Beachbody, it's been around.
P90X been around.
Everything's been around. It's not new. People are saying, we're never going back to the gym. It's over. It's like, do you not like hanging out with friends? Like,
so then do you want Kayyo in gyms?
Yeah, we want it to be a Kayyo world. Like this is just like an app interface, just a modality where we see software as a distribution point, but we could see it being in gyms. We could see being it in arenas, It's just software, just a fabric. Like it's up to us where we want to integrate that into.
Do you see a world where instead of someone doing a Zumba class, people are all crowding into a room, and it's a Kayyo instructor?
Perhaps.
Okay.
All I'll say is that we're not looking to be the next biggest fitness app or like next like gym provider, whatever it is, there's no box. Like the goal is within 10 years that if you're looking to break a sweat as a non-professional athlete, maybe even one day as a professional athlete, it's going to be through Kayyo.
It's going to be through Kayyo.
Yeah. If you want to break a sweat, it'll be through us.
Right on. So you're going to start, MMA's the start. Mm-hmm. And then, as one day, do you want to expand beyond just MMA?
There might be a couple sports that already work pretty well right now for us.
Okay.
We've been working the lab, we look at international things like soccer, dance, basketball, cricket.
Damn.
Yeah.
Let's go, man. That's,
Because sports are, if you think about it, they're just cultural phenomena. And if you can attach yourself to a cultural phenomena, you are attaching yourself to a rocket ship.
Cultural phenomena, but also the movements aren't as different as you may think, right? Like you need good feet, you need hand-eye coordination for basketball and boxing, right? So
everything.
There's adjacent
it's
stuff.
human movement, but if you look at like the actual like fanfare, I think sports in this day and age, aside from politics, might be the closest thing to that we have to religion. If you go in Europe,
Whoa.
right, and if you back the wrong team, there's a riot. You know, people are backing these teams for like, I think over 100 years now, right? So it's a very developed sport. And if you can attach yourself to that movement and say, hey, that we can have you feel like Wayne Rooney or Ronaldo, whatever, by playing these games and activities, you have the deepest level of fan engagement. Like, I truly believe in sports, when you create a participant is when you create a super fan. When you feel like you can do something and be a part of that movement, bro, you're hooked. Like, you're not going to miss a game now.
Yeah.
Like, look at all, like all the league games that kids play from like middle school, high school, they're so involved. It's like, bro, let's go catch the game. I'm watching the stats. Now people are sports betting. Like, it's like these entire ecosystems. Like, and you want to intercept.
Yeah, man, no doubt, bro. So in 5 years, bro, where do you see Kayyo?
5 years.
5 years from now, where do you want Kayyo to be?
5 years, man. 5 years. 100 million users.
Okay.
Sounds audacious. And the second one, 100 million users, hopefully like 100 million plus ARR.
Okay. New house, new crib.
Honestly, I'm already like, I'm not motivated. It sounds stupid, but I'm not motivated by money at all. Like, I'm very happy like how I am. The whole goal for this thing is like build the biggest thing ever. Like, I'm really about that, because like I just need my friends and us hanging out at Target and I'm like happy. I don't need too much. And then
That's dope.
Yeah, maybe gyms or something with gyms.
Yeah. Everyone needs that Kayyo stamp of approval to be a real gym, training people on.
Yeah, there's like ghost gyms. There's a lot of things turning in my head, and I can't say for sure like what we're gonna be in 5 years. But yeah, I think like 100 million users would be pretty tight.
Where can we find and download Kayyo?
Go to the App Store. Just type in Kayyo. You'll check us out on Kayyo.co. If you just search up Kayyo, you'll find us somewhere.
Yeah.
All you have to do is search up Kayyo.
That SEO is probably pretty easy right now.
Kayyo.
Yeah.
We might be adopting some other brands too under our wing.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff happening, but yeah, Kayyo, you'll find us.
No doubt, man. Well, Labib, we appreciate you joining the pod,
pleasure,
man.
Brother,
This has been another great episode of the Athletes and Asses podcast, where I bring on some of your favorite athletes to chat about a business topic. We got Labib Yasir, former MMA fighter, who is now the co-founder of Kayyo, taking AI fighting fitness to the next level. Bro, thank you so much for joining me.
Pleasure, Noah. Thank you for having me.
That's Liddy, and we're out.